Hey Sri Lanka, this is Yasmin Yusuf with the very cool Pat Rutnam. He's here in the island because of a few things.
Yep, a few things. One of them being I'm doing a little showcase of a documentary that I filmed in Sri Lanka called Hidden Pockets. And I'm showcasing it to the people that worked on the project because it had a good run in the film festivals in the U.S. and won an award at Studio City.
Whoa, some big things, huh? I mean, it's only the start of the year, and that's like a pretty good thing to have.
Yeah, it is. And it's nice that, it was filmed in Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka is such a big character of the show that I had to reward the country that was filmed, more so than the writing behind the project or anything. But the country kind of wrote the story itself.
I mean, Sri Lanka in its own is like a big personality. And here's the coolest thing, though. Like, wherever you turn, it's like personality, personality, personality. Like, from the roads to the tuk-tuk to, like, just going to the kade.
It is. And it's, especially for people in the film business, Sri Lanka has so many stories to tell. And it's so rich in history and culture that you really could create a story, like you said, just, walk up to the tuk-tuk driver and you have a film.
And so this is the blessing of being like a producer, a singer, and also like a assistant producer as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just like shows that you have like a crazy imagination and creator. You just can't stop thinking about the next big project. And Hidden Pockets, when is that coming out for us people in the island?
It should. Right now we're talking to distributors. So it's a pilot episode of supposed to be 6 episodes. And we're talking to a producer in Canada that wants to pick it up and produce the remaining 5 episodes. So I would say we would film those 5 episodes probably towards the latter part of the year. You will have a whole show to see, a whole series.
A series is what you're aiming for.
A series is what I'm aiming for.
And the pilot, that's like a tiny, tiny thing that we might be able to see in the future.
Yes, definitely.
Man, Netflix, get picking up on this because we have content from Sri Lanka. And so this is like your, how should I say, your journey in Sri Lanka?
Yeah, it is. It's, I grew up in the U.S., and I had family here, used to come on family trips, but this was a real in-depth look into the home of my ancestors, which is your home. And it's a really a good journey into parts that are unseen to the naked eye. Like, we go and hang out with and learn about the African populations in the country.
In Puttalam.
In Puttalam, yeah. And what great culture and dance they've brought to the country.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's an inside look into kind of the underparts.
Which is needed also. And, it's so strange that you bring up the African community of Sri Lanka, because this whole week, you won't believe it, I was talking to a lot of people about this, and I was like, and even Arjun, who I spoke to and had on the Yes Homegrown Top 15, I was telling him, of course, off air, this is something that you need to go explore, because these people, they have so much to offer. And it's so sad that they never had that opportunity to sort of be, out there.
Yeah. I mean, only relatively recently, they're recognized with ID cards.
What?
That's something that in the show, one of the elders in the community talks about.
Oh, wow.
That they didn't have a national ID card. So only recently they've been kind of recognized. And, we have to accept the past for what it is and look forward to the future. Because
the future is so important, and hopefully they'll play a bigger role in like the years to come, especially in music and arts, because I feel like their contribution, again, very unrecognized, but it's a few of us who know, and that needs to come out, because, talent should always be recognized. Good work should always be like made noted of.
Yeah. And this community itself, they have a music group, and their goal is to perform worldwide, to showcase their culture and their talents.
What's their name?
It's called the Ceylon Africa Manju,
Okay.
something like that.
Hopefully, we're gonna like find them and like put a link if they've got like a web presence.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that would be great for them. They'd love it. And fully, it's an amazing group. And yeah, once you see the show, you'll see how much rhythm and talent and how much of their history comes across in their performance.
Man, that would be so awesome to see.
Yeah.
And man, we've spoken so much about your upcoming project, but let's get to know you. Who are you? Pat, the creative person, the human.
I grew up in LA I don't know if you've heard of the San Fernando Valley.
No, I'm sorry.
Have you seen the movie Clueless? No. Okay.
Sorry.
It's like I grew up in the Valley in LA and went to college in New York. I went to New York University and studied drama and film at New York University. And then that took me to working on projects here. Actually, the first project I did in Sri Lanka was my uncle Chandran Rutnam, who's a director and producer. It was called A Common Man.
Yes.
Ben Kingsley. And that sparked my interest in working in film in Sri Lanka because I saw how amazing the talent is. It's just, there's such a wealth of talent and good energy when it comes to the arts in this country.
And is there anything in specific that caught your eye or ears?
Yeah, what caught my eyes and ears, it's just the dedication towards doing the work that you get, and you know they don't take it for granted that they're doing something they love, and it shows. It shows, and yeah, it was an amazing experience working on that film. And then, so in LA too, I've done some other stuff. I've worked on. I used to do a lot of advertisements for car commercials, and I did a project with The Rock.
Yeah.
I've done on HBO. So and yeah, there's a lot, and there's a lot of new opportunities now.
And you were in a horror movie too?
Horror movie. I was in a horror movie called Once Upon a Time in a Haunted House.
What was that like?
That was fun. It's a good friend of mine who directed it. He's a very talented director, Ramon, and we work on projects together. I'll help him produce some of his projects, and then he's actually a producer on Hidden Pockets, and it's a lot of fun because you find like the creepiest looking house to film in, and you do very intense night shoots. With really, it's just an awesome experience. You really bond with the crew working on a horror film.
And the ghosts.
And the ghosts. And all the monsters.
Because that has to happen like by default, right?
There's all kinds of stuff that, especially in those homes, that really are haunted. Again, like Sri Lanka writes itself when you film. Those haunted houses almost write the story themselves.
Oh, man. And Sri Lankan horror stories, they are so unique.
Really? Oh.
I could tell you so many. Because I've like done a little research like during these past few years, and it's crazy, man.
I bet even here you probably have some like really haunted.
Oh my gosh. I can tell you a few places right now, but not on camera though. That's for much later. Sorry, ghost hunters. Yeah, so let's get to know you a little more. You sing too, huh?
I sing. Yeah, I grew up loving the 60s and 70s. I feel like I'm a child of the 60s. That's why even hanging out in this vinyl room is so cool and raw. There's so much you can like tangibly feel. Right? You were surrounded by the warmth of music right now.
And it's history, and it's so much of stuff.
Yeah. So for me, so 60s, I grew up listening to the Beatles and Elvis. And I just translated to me picking up the guitar in college, trying to impress girls, and then finding the music that I grew up listening to was the only thing I really knew. And I still kind of, like my friends are all like, oh, did you check out this new band? Are you going to go see this new band in concert? I'm like, no, I'm gonna go watch Billy Joel or, Paul McCartney. Then my friends give me a tough time. 'Cause I'm so classic.
Nah, but that is who you are, and it is what it is. And so, like, I've noticed you just did this interesting cover of "Shallow" with April Shockman a few years ago.
Yeah, that was an awesome experience. My uncle used to go to the Little Hut, and when we were here on a trip, he said, "You got to check out this girl, April." And my dad and I saw her perform, and she was amazing. She's got such a strong, powerful voice. And that was around the time of Shallow, the movie Star is Born. And so we just decided to do a cover of that. Her voice suits it perfectly. And we did a video. My uncle directed the video. And I thought it came out really well. It was just a fun experience to do that.
I was really hoping for like a follow-up after that.
Right. Maybe we should do one.
You should.
Yeah.
Maybe get April on the bandwagon again and do stuff.
Yeah. Actually, that is something that is in the works.
Oh, already? Hey!
We'll be doing a duet.
That's good because, April, for the longest time, I've been kind of following her, and I feel like she is someone Sri Lanka needs to hear more of. But I guess, like, as with most artists, sometimes you kind of need to find yourself. You need to have, like, that minute of, okay, this is what I can do, and just take it and run with it. So I feel like April hasn't had that moment where she's made it like 100% truly hers, because it's just been a lot of band work and covers, but hopefully one day original music for the win.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she should definitely. I mean, I think, I think April is, to me, is like our country's Adele. That power from her voice.
And that presence.
And
she
the presence.
has an amazing presence to her.
Yeah, no, you're right. She should do more original music. Maybe that's something we can do together. I'll explore that with her.
Yeah, future goals. And so you have one documentary in the pipeline. Is there other things that you're working on in terms of movies or short films?
Yes, there's a romantic comedy that will be shot here probably in the spring, sometime in May. That is the most upcoming thing. There were some projects that were pushed back due to coronavirus. One project was an immigrant story that takes place on a ship going to Australia. And that seems to be picking up steam. And I think pre-production has begun on that too. So those are the things that are directly in the pipeline. Then I have all kinds of ideas that I like to do.
Do a Sri Lankan horror movie.
I think that I know.
We need a proper horror movie from Sri Lanka because the tales here are like insane, man.
Yeah, I should. And just like you said, some of those, off camera, you could tell me all those cool homes to film in.
Oh, whoa, yeah, gold. And, so you're part of like this completely interesting movie and production scene. And so you're also pretty much aware of how South Asia is slowly infiltrating its way into Hollywood, Netflix, and all that. What are some of your thoughts on that?
I think it's amazing. And I think now with streaming media and content, you're starting to see that they're moving towards growth. And the growth is in these markets, these emerging markets, because they've kind of already tapped into the Western market. So Netflix has a main office in Mumbai and a main office.
What? They have one in Mumbai?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And a big office in Singapore. And Disney has a big, Disney Hotstar is very big in India. And they're starting to look towards South Asian content. And Sri Lanka. The one thing is I used to audition for roles I'm still audition for roles in LA all the time. And the roles I used to audition for would say, oh, it's Indian this or Pakistani this, or South Asian, just generally South Asian. Now you're seeing specific roles written for Sri Lankan Americans,
How's that?
which is amazing. Yeah. So right now it's a great time to be in the film industry as a South Asian, because there are going to be a lot more growth opportunities and a lot more money coming into developing content.
Which is amazing, man. I mean, this is just so nice to be hearing as well. So the prospects are there,
Definitely.
and it's going to get bigger. So this brings us to the next question. What kind of insights do you have?
Yeah, insights. Like if I would love to help people that want to be in film and want to act and make movies. And I do that sometimes. You see some Sri Lankans that study film in the US, and I'll give them guidance on how to get agents, what to do to get a job on a set, what people are looking for. And my insight is to take as much work as possible that you can do, and always be working on your craft as an actor. Because sometimes I think as an actor too, you can get complacent.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of just sit and wait for the role to come to you, or someone says, hey, I got this project. But I think if you're constantly working on your craft, you'll find that things will just come to you, and you'll have to, you have so much more opportunity. Life happens when you're busy,
It always does. And opportunities come your way, and then the next minute you're like boarding that plane and making life happen for you.
Yeah. So I would say, if there are young Sri Lankans in the industry that want tips to move to LA, to the US, I know the schools that they can go to. I know the schools that the courses that they can take, that they can get, also, help them establish themselves in the country. I'm happy to do that, because I think the market is growing, and we need, there's not enough supply for that kind of demand. And right now the demand for content and South Asian content is starting to outweigh the supply.
But here's the thing also, because I personally know a lot of content creators, filmmakers, like the high school junkies, who have been doing, as much content as they can. But of course, like, it's limited resources, it's, limited funding also, but they do some stellar productions. Like, what are the opportunities there? Because I feel like there's obviously, where there's content, there will be another bank of people who are like, oh, let's invest. Are there opportunities like that for independent content creators from Sri Lanka to be able to tap into those financial resources?
Definitely. I think the thing is, it's still a business. As you know, this is still a business of who you know. So you just got to connect to the people that can do things. But there is a market for actually more so than ever before. There's a market for independent producers, independent directors, independent content creators, because the studio system has now kind of shifted. It's like Amazon.
Yeah. And
so we could create our own brand for Amazon Prime or for Netflix.
Yeah.
So, which is the way the industry is moving. It's shifted a little bit away from the studio celebrity system.
Yeah.
And into just good storytelling will carry you a long way. I think there's Squid Game.
Yeah.
Massive hit. And they say Squid Game added $900 billion of valuation to Netflix. $900 billion.
That's incredible.
I think it's 900 million. I've got to rethink my billion.
Google this.
Yeah, I think it's 900 million. Almost a billion. So you imagine those days, like box office, if you made 100 million, that was a massive success. This TV show is at a 900 million.
So
series also If the content creators, if they create, movies are still big, but if they create series where I think audiences now love to binge and they love to attach themselves to these characters and grow with the characters and learn more about their lives, I think creating series is the way to go.
Yeah.
Rather than films.
So now that you know Sri Lanka, that's some very good advice right there. So is there anything that you want to say in closing?
No, I want to thank you, Yaz, for having me on the show. I want to thank this awesome place
Vinyl
to have
Cafe!
Vinyl Cafe. It is so cool. I think I'm just going to scour through all this vinyls.
I mean, you're welcome to be like, I don't know, browsing all day long.
This is cool. There's an area in LA that's like a hipster part of town called Silver Lake. I don't know if you've heard. Oh,
no, I'm sorry.
Okay, but this reminds me. This feels very much at home for me, where I am right now. So thank you.
Jaiweva. And Sri Lanka followed Pat because he's up to some seriously, seriously big things. And yeah, seriously big things, man. Right?
Seriously big. Not too serious.
Not serious, but seriously big things. Jaiweva.